Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. A couple of days ago, I made a video regarding Daniel Dubois, saying how pleased I was that he's finally, gained some sort of, redemption, if you like, because of the image that he had as not Triple D, but Triple Knee, as they were calling him, and he's a quitter, and he's robotic, and he's an idiot, and all the rest of it. Well, against Jarrell Miller, he kind of answered an awful lot of questions. He showed fortitude, discipline. He was cool under pressure. I think Don Charles in his corner has got a lot to do with this. Don Charles is very much a sort of father figure, and Daniel, even though he's 26 now, he kind of understands, he kind of looks for the father figure and understands things when they are said to him in a very parental way. And I think that that's really quite impressive, actually, the fact that Don Charles and Daniel have come together, and in a relatively quick time, not only did they lost to Usyk, which you could say would be, parting of the waves, but no, they came together, worked hard, and you could see improvements in Daniel in a very short space of time, coming off a bad defeat. And some would say a controversial defeat because of the low blow issue. I thought it was a low blow myself, but a lot of people think that was a legitimate punch against Usyk and that Daniel was hard done by. But regardless of all that, Don Charles and Daniel worked hard together, and in a very quick turnaround, came in, took on a 333-pound, trundling heavy bag that just happened to throw punches. And for the first half of the fight, it was very, very ominous, I thought. I thought Miller's getting close. The first 2-3 rounds, Miller was actually doing well. He was putting some controlled aggression, some controlled pressure on Daniel. But Daniel handled it well. I thought Daniel was working too hard. He was being forced to fight at a pace he didn't like, throw too many punches, move too much. I thought he's going to be knackered after 5 rounds. In actual fact, if he was knackered, he found his second wind, came on strong, and as we know, he stopped Miller in the final round. Now, what does this tell us? This tells us that Daniel's confidence is almost certainly up, very, very high. But the question is, of course, who does he face next? And I think the ideal opponent for Daniel to continue with his progress, to continue with his redemption, would be another Frank Warren fighter, Joe Joyce. Now, as we know, Joyce busted his eye socket, Daniel's eye socket. Daniel quit against him. No problem with that at all. It's a potential career-ending injury, and it's also an injury that can cost you your eyesight, or at the very least, greatly diminish it. This has happened to boxers before. So no problem with him in bailing out against Joyce. That was a sensible thing to do. But Joyce, as we know, had an absolutely disastrous 2023. He took on Zhilei Zhang twice, got stopped in the first fight on a shut eye, and in the second fight got blitzed and had that concrete jaw of his well and truly cracked in half. So Joyce will be asking questions. Joyce will be saying, what do I do next? How do I make my way back? He was the WBO's interim champ. That's now gone to Zhang. So he's in the snakes and ladders way. He was near the top and he's gone all the way back to the start. He's going to be looking for a chance to rebuild. He is 38, but I suppose you could say if you take out the Zhang contests, he's kind of a young 38. 38 is not absolutely ancient for a heavyweight, although it's by no means young. We do get heavyweights who can go into their early 40s. But he's got to get his skates on. And Dubois, of course, well, first of all, Joyce he's going to be thinking, who can I take on? Well, Dubois has just scored a very good win, and his stock has risen sharply. He already holds a victory over Dubois. So he's probably thinking, if I can beat him again, I can jump up to that level, maybe not to where I was, but quite a bit higher than I currently am, because his career at the moment is on the floor. Dubois is unlikely to sort of refuse that fight because he's going to think, I can beat this guy now. I can get revenge. I can wipe out one of the black marks on my record. You know, Usyk we'll worry about later, if ever. But Joyce, I can beat him. He's been knocked out twice, or stopped twice, firmly knocked out in the rematch. Okay, I've just proved that I can take on this enormous 333-pound behemoth and beat him up and stop him. Joyce is renowned for being a big, strong, trundling, what he calls himself, the juggernaut. I can beat him. Yeah, you know, put him back in the ring with me. I want my revenge. That's, you know, confidence breeds ambition, breeds motivation. When you've got no confidence, it's hard to have motivation, you know. So I think this is an ideal matchup that both would accept. And I think it would be not only extremely intriguing, it could be very, very entertaining. It would be fascinating to see how Joyce, what Joyce has got left, that sort of those mental demons that are going to be in his mind because of the two Zhang fights. It will be fascinating to see if Daniel has any mental demons from the first Joyce fight. In other words, you've got two fighters of their last 4 contests, but you know, combined, they've lost 3 of them, and all 3 of those defeats have been by stoppage or knockout. So you put them together, it is a quintessential crossroads fight, and I think this would be a fantastic matchup, intriguing and probably entertaining as well. You know, can Daniel outbox him? Can Daniel be as disciplined as he was against Miller? Can he bang that jab in, move a lot? You know, stay out of the way of Joyce's undoubted pressure, soften him up, test his jaw. Likewise, can Joyce, or rather can Daniel survive the pressure? Can Joyce put the pressure on intelligently, grind him down like he did in the first fight, maybe bust him up again, make those little haunting memories come back into his mind? It's a great matchup to me. And like I say, a perfect crossroads fight. And of course, from Frank Warren's point of view, in a sense, he can say, you know, winner stays on, the loser, and we know who we'll be hoping the loser is, which is the 38-year-old Joyce rather than the 26-year-old Dubois, that he can be put out to pasture. Because if Joyce was to lose, he would have lost for 3 times in a row, and Warren would justifiably say, I think you should retire. That would be the way. He'd probably not be interested in continuing with the contract. Of course, a contract is watertight, and Joyce, I don't know what the details are of the contract. Even if Joyce was to lose, he may, in his contract may be for further fights, but Warren, I think, would probably pay him off. That's only a guess, but you know, I don't know. But anyway, what do you think of this fight? What do you think of the idea of Joyce versus Dubois again, a rematch? I think it's really, really good, really interesting. And the perfect comeback for Joyce and the perfect continuation towards redemption for Dubois. So let me know what you think. Leave your comments below, please. I'll read them as always. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'd really appreciate that. And of course, hit the like button as well. And yeah, thanks a lot. Catch you later. And bye for now.